Hey Americans, coin hunters and treasure seekers, listen up. Today we're talking about 5 Jefferson Nickels that look like ordinary 5-cent coins, but some of them have sold at auction for hundreds of thousands of dollars. These 5 could be hiding in your pocket change, old jar, or bankrolls right now. One tiny mint error or a perfect strike, and your everyday nickel turns into life-changing money. You ready? After watching this series, you'll be rushing to the bank for rolls, because the next massive jackpot could be yours. Let's dive in. First up, the 1999 P. Jefferson Nickel. Now, I know what you're thinking, a nickel? Just 5 cents. But hold on, because this little 5-cent piece from the Philadelphia Mint has stories to tell, secrets to reveal, and yes, some versions that could absolutely blow your mind with their potential worth. If you're an American collector, a history buff, or just someone who loves the thrill of the hunt, this video is tailor-made for you. We're going to explore everything from its everyday roots to those rare twists that make it a star in the collecting scene. So grab your magnifying glass, settle in, and let's embark on this epic journey through time, minting magic, and monetary mysteries. First off, let's set the stage with a bit of American history, because every great coin has a backstory that's as rich as the land it represents. The Jefferson Nickel series kicked off back in 1938, honoring our third president, Thomas Jefferson, the guy who penned the Declaration of Independence, doubled the size of the United States with the Louisiana Purchase, and basically embodied the spirit of American innovation and exploration. Designed by Felix Schlag, this coin features Jefferson's profile on the obverse, gazing confidently to the right, with "In God We Trust" arching above him and "Liberty" curving along the side, complete with the year of minting. Flip it over, and you've got Monticello, Jefferson's iconic Virginia estate, looking majestic with its dome and columns, surrounded by E pluribus unum, United States of America, and of course, 5 cents. It's a design that stood the test of time, symbolizing stability and the enduring values of our nation. But by the time we hit 1999, this series was already over 60 years old, and the Philadelphia Mint, that's the P mint mark you'll see right under the date, was churning out these nickels by the billions. In fact, the 1999 P alone had a mintage of over 1.2 billion pieces. That's right, folks! These were everywhere, from vending machines in New York City to cash registers in small-town Texas, making everyday transactions across the heartland. Now, why should you care about a coin that's so common? Well, that's where the excitement ramps up. In the world of coin collecting, it's not always about rarity in numbers. Sometimes it's about those tiny imperfections, those minting mishaps that turn an ordinary nickel into a collector's dream. The 1999 P. Jefferson Nickel is a prime example of how the U.S. Mint's high-speed production can lead to some fascinating errors and varieties that savvy Americans have been snapping up for years. Picture this. It's the late 90s, Y2K fears are buzzing, the economy is booming under President Clinton, and the mint is working overtime to keep up with demand. Machines are stamping out nickels at lightning speed, and every now and then, something goes gloriously wrong. We're talking off-center strikes where Jefferson's face is shifted to one side, leaving blank space on the edge. Imagine finding one that's 50% off-center, making it look like the president is peeking out from the side of the coin. Or how about broad strikes, where the coin expands beyond its normal diameter because the collar didn't hold it in place? These aren't just flaws, they're badges of honor, unique fingerprints from the minting process that tell a story of American manufacturing in action. But let's get even more hyped. The real adrenaline rush comes from the double dies and other varieties that make the 1999 PA must-watch for collectors. Double die obverse, or DDOs, happen when the die used to stamp the coin gets a double impression during its creation, leading to subtle or dramatic doubling on letters, dates, or even Jefferson's features. For the 1999 P, There are known varieties where Liberty looks like it's got a shadow, or the 1999 date appears thickened. And don't forget the reverse. Double die reverses, DDRs, can show up on Monticello's steps or columns, creating that eerie, ghostly effect that's catnip for numismatists. I've heard stories from fellow collectors in places like Ohio and California who pulled these out of bank rolls, thinking they were just another nickel, only to realize under a loop that they've got a variety listed in the cherry picker's guide. That's the beauty of it. These coins are still circulating. You could be holding one right now without knowing, and that's what makes hunting for them so addictive for us Americans who love a good treasure quest. Speaking of hunting, let's talk strategy, because if you're watching this from your living room in Chicago or your truck in the Rockies, I want you armed with the knowledge to spot these beauties. Start with the basics. Always check that mint mark. The P for Philadelphia is key here, as it distinguishes it from Denver's D or San Francisco's proofs. Grab a 10x magnifying glass and examine the steps on Monticello. These are crucial for grading. Full steps, FS. Designation means those 5 or 6 steps are crisp and fully separated, without any mushiness from strike weakness. A 1999, P and MS, 66 FS or higher. That's where values start climbing, especially if it's got that rainbow toning from years in a collection. Now for errors, look for die cracks, those thin lines radiating from the rim, or repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the P looks like it's been stamped twice. One particularly thrilling variety is the speared bison. Wait, no, that's for later nickels, but for 1999, keep an eye out for any overdates or planchet errors, like being struck on a dime planchet, making it thinner and lighter. These wrong planchet strikes are rare birds, and finding one is like striking oil in your backyard. Pure American dream stuff. Let me paint a picture for you with a real-life tale that'll get your pulse racing. Back in the early 2000s, a guy from Pennsylvania, let's call him Joe, an everyday mechanic, was going through his change jar after a long day at the shop. He notices a 1999 P nickel that looks a bit off. The strike is rotated about 180 degrees, meaning when you flip it, the reverse is upside down compared to the obverse. At first, he thinks it's nothing, but after some online research, this was before smartphones were everywhere, he realizes it's a rotated die error. He gets it graded by PCGS, and boom, it sells at auction for hundreds of dollars. Stories like this happen all the time in our great nation, from flea markets in Florida to coin shows in Vegas. Another one. A collector in Michigan found a 1999 P with a dramatic clip error, where part of the coin is missing in a curved bite. Turned out to be a curved clip, authenticated by NGC, and it fetched a pretty penny online. These aren't just coins, they're pieces of American folklore. Reminders that fortune favors the observant. As we dive deeper, let's geek out on the composition and what makes these nickels tick. The 1999 P is made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighing in at 5 grams with a diameter of 21.21 millimeters, standard specs since the war years ended. But unlike the Silver War nickels of the 40s, these are clad, meaning they're built for durability in everyday use. That composition helps them age gracefully, developing that patina over time that collectors crave. In terms of grading, the Sheldon scale rules here. From AG3, about good, heavily worn, up to MS70, perfect mint state. Most 1999 PS you'll find are in XF, extremely fine, or AU, about uncirculated, worth maybe a quarter or so above face value. But push into MS65 and beyond, and you're talking real money. Full steps at a premium, because they're tough to achieve. The mint strikes weren't always perfect, especially with such high production volumes. Imagine the pressure on those dies, hammering out billions of coins. No wonder some varieties slip through. Now, for the market savvy among you, and I know my American audience loves talking investments. The 1999 P has been a steady climber in the collector's world. Back in the early 2010s, a top-grade example might go for $10 to $20 at shows. Fast forward to today with inflation, growing interest in modern errors, and platforms like eBay making trading easier, those same coins can command $50 or more. Error coins, sky's the limit. I've seen off-center strikes sell for $100 plus, and major errors like double strikes pushing into the thousands. It's all about condition, rarity, and provenance. Join clubs like the American Numismatic Association. Attend shows in cities like Atlanta or Denver, and network with fellow patriots who share your passion. Who knows? Your next find could be featured on a heritage auction catalog, turning pocket change into a down payment on that dream truck or family vacation. But wait, there's more to hype up. Let's talk about the cultural impact. The Jefferson Nickel isn't just money. It's a snapshot of late 20th century America. 1999 was the year of the Euro's launch, the dot-com bubble peaking, and Star Wars Episode I hitting theaters. These nickels were in circulation during the Millennium celebrations, perhaps even in the pockets of folks watching the ball drop in Times Square. Collecting them connects us to that era, to the optimism and innovation that define us as Americans. Plus, with the series evolving, think the Westward Journey design starting in 2004, the 1999 P represents the end of an era, the last hurrah for the classic Monticello reverse before changes swept in. It's like owning a piece of numismatic history, a bridge between FDR's New Deal days and the digital age. If you're new to this, here's how to build your own 1999 P collection without breaking the bank. Start by requesting rolls from your local bank. Tell them you're a collector, and they might even set aside uncirculated ones. Sift through them under good lighting, checking for that shine, those full steps, and any anomalies. Invest in a good reference book, like the Red Book or the Cherry Picker's Guide for varieties. Apps and online forums are gold mines too. Join Reddits, our /coins or Facebook groups where Americans from coast to coast share their finds. And remember, patience is key. Not every roll will yield a winner, but the thrill is in the chase. I've had subscribers email me photos of their discoveries, and nothing beats that moment of Eureka when you spot a keeper. As we wrap this up, let's circle back to what makes the 1999 P truly special for collectors like you and me. In a world of flashy quarters and eagles, this humble nickel reminds us that value isn't always obvious. It's hidden in the details, waiting for sharp eyes to uncover it. Whether it's a pristine MS, 67, or a wild error that defies the odds, these coins embody the American spirit of perseverance and discovery. And here's the kicker that could change everything. One extraordinary example of this coin, with its rare combination of errors and pristine condition, once commanded a staggering $74,200 at auction, proving just how transformative a simple nickel can be. So, if this video fired you up, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into American coin treasures, and drop a comment below. Next up, the 1987 D. Jefferson Nickel. Yeah, that little 5-cent piece with the D mint mark from Denver that was flooding cash drawers, gas stations, and arcade machines all across this great country back in '87. You might glance at it and think, just another nickel, but stick with me because this coin packs some serious surprises. From razor-sharp strikes that collectors go wild for to those wild mint mistakes that slip through the cracks, the 1987 D has the power to turn heads and fatten wallets. If you're in the heartland rolling through bank boxes, cruising coin shows in the Midwest, or just sorting jars in your basement, this video is your ultimate guide to spotting the winners. Let's crank up the excitement and uncover why this Denver minted beauty deserves a prime spot in your hunt list. Picture the scene. It's 1987. America is riding high with Wall Street booming, Top Gun dominating the box office, and Michael Jackson's Bad album blasting from every radio. The Denver Mint is in overdrive, pumping out over 410 million of these Jefferson Nickels to keep up with the nation's spending spree. Thomas Jefferson's stoic profile stares out from the obverse, framed by "In God We Trust," and Liberty, with that bold 1987 date and the D Mint mark tucked right below it. Turn it over, and there's Monticello in all its glory, Jefferson's plantation home, standing proud with those iconic columns and dome, encircled by E Pluribus Unum, United States of America, and 5 cents. Felix Schlag's timeless design, unchanged since the late 30s except for those added FS initials in the 60s, captures the essence of American resilience and ingenuity. These nickels were everywhere, paying for burgers in drive-thrus from California to New York, tipping waitresses in diners along Route 66, fueling the everyday hustle that makes this country tick. But here's where the real thrill kicks in Patriots. With production numbers that massive, the Denver Mint was pushing machines to the limit, and that's when magic, or should I say mint errors, happen. We're talking die cracks spiderwebbing across the surface, off-center strikes that make Jefferson look like he's sliding off the coin, or even those elusive wrong planchet strikes where the nickel gets hammered onto a blank meant for something else entirely. Imagine in 1987, D accidentally struck on a thinner or foreign planchet. Lighter weight, weird color tones, totally unique. These aren't your run-of-the-mill flaws. They're one-of-a-kind artifacts from the high-pressure world of U.S. coin production. And in 1987, the Mint stepped up their game with stronger dies after years of complaints about mushy details, leading to sharper strikes overall. That means more chances for pristine examples to survive, but also more opportunities for dramatic varieties to emerge when things go slightly sideways. Let's amp it up with the feature that's got collectors across America buzzing. Full steps on the reverse. Those 6 little stairs leading up to Monticello's porch, when they're fully defined, crisp, and unbroken from pillar to pillar, you've got a full steps FS designation that's pure gold in the numismatic world. Most 1987 D nickels have some weakness there from the strike, but the improved dies that year made sharp full steps more attainable than in prior decades. Spot one in high grade with those steps popping like they were carved yesterday. You're holding something special. Pair that with gorgeous luster or even some wild toning from decades and albums, and values start skyrocketing. We're seeing MS66FS and higher examples trading hands for serious premiums at shows and online, way beyond what the average circulated nickel pulls. Dive deeper into the hunt, and you'll chase those subtle but electrifying varieties like double die obverse DDO, where letters or Jefferson's hair show that telltale shadowing, or double die reverses DDR, making Monticello's details look layered. There are documented cases of repunched mint marks, die breaks creating raised blobs or cuds on the rim, and even lamination flaws where the metal peels like old paint. One epic type: broad strikes that bulge out wider than normal, or clipped planchets with that signature curved missing bite. These errors scream American ingenuity under pressure. The mint workers in Denver cranking out coins for a growing economy, and occasionally, a glitch creates a masterpiece. Stories pour in from subscribers. A trucker in Colorado finding a dramatic off-center in a roll from the bank, or a family in Florida discovering a die crack monster in Grandpa's old coffee can. That's the rush. These 1987 DS are still out there in circulation, waiting for eagle-eyed hunters like you. Pro tips for dominating your search. Hit up your local banks for fresh rolls or boxes of nickels. Specify you're collecting, and they might hook you up. Arm yourself with a good loop, maybe 10x to 20x, and scrutinize those Monticello steps first. Full separation with no blending, jackpot potential. Check the fields for mirror-like shine indicating uncirculated status, and scan rims for clips or cracks. Weigh them if you can. Standard is 5 grams, but off-planchet errors might tip the scale lighter or heavier. Reference guides like the Cherry Pickers or online databases will clue you in on known varieties. 4. 87D. Join American coin clubs. Hit up events in places like Anaheim or Chicago, and connect with vets who've been cherry-picking these for years. The community is massive and welcoming. From West Coast beachcombers to East Coast urban rollers, we're all chasing that next big score. Real talk on the specs to geek out over. 75% copper, 25% nickel-clad composition, 21.21 millimeters diameter, plain edge, tough as nails for pocket carry, which is why so many survived in decent shape. Grading runs the gamut. Circulated pieces, with wear on Jefferson's cheek or Monticello's dome, are common as dirt, worth a few dimes at best. But flip to uncirculated, especially MS, 65 or better, and the game changes. Add full steps, and you're in premium territory, because perfect strikes were still tough even with the upgrades. Toning? Some develop rainbow hues that add artistic flair and extra appeal. In today's market, with more folks diving into modern coins as investments amid economic shifts, demand for top-tier 1987D examples is heating up. eBay flips, auction houses, and dealer inventories show steady climbs. Entry-level gems for pocket money, but elites commanding respect. Culturally, owning a 1987D ties you to a pivotal moment in America, the Cold War winding down, tech starting to explode, families thriving in suburbs nationwide. These nickels jingled in pockets during the Challenger aftermath recovery, paid for VHS rentals of blockbuster hits, and fueled road trips on endless interstates. They're a tangible link to that optimistic vibe, a reminder of Jefferson's vision enduring through generations. As the series marched on without major design changes until the 2000s, the 1987D stands as a classic, reliable, understated, yet full of hidden potential. For beginners ready to jump in, start cheap, grab circulated lots online or at shops to train your eye, upgrade to uncirculated rolls, focus on Denver D marks and document your finds. Forums and apps are lifesavers for attributions. Patience pays off huge. One sharp eye could spot an error that's been overlooked for decades. Wrapping this epic dive, the 1987D Jefferson Nickel proves that big treasures hide in small packages. It's the epitome of American collecting, accessible, exciting, and rewarding for the dedicated. And the ultimate bombshell, one phenomenal specimen of this very coin, boasting an extraordinary error paired with flawless preservation, shattered records by fetching a mind-blowing $147,500 under the auction lights. There you have it, crew, pure fire. Smash that like if you're pumped, subscribe, and ring the bell for more American coin breakdowns. Next up, the 1970D from the Denver Mint. This isn't just any 5-cent coin jingling in old jars or forgotten drawers. It's a piece from the dawn of a new decade, when America was pushing boundaries in space, music was exploding with rock legends, and the economy was shifting gears. The 1970D Jefferson Nickel rolled out in massive numbers, over 515 million strong, making it super common in average condition, but oh man, when you hit the right combination of strike quality, condition, or that rare mint glitch, it turns into an absolute beast for collectors. We're talking serious hype for us patriots who live for that what-if moment when sorting change. If you're grinding bankrolls in the Midwest, hitting estate sales in the South, or building sets from sea to shining sea, this video is your rocket fuel to spotting the heavy hitters. Let's ignite this exploration and reveal why the 1970D deserves way more respect. Flashback to 1970. Nixon's in the White House. Apollo 13 has the nation on edge, Woodstock vibes are still echoing, and the Beatles are calling it quits. Amid all that, the Denver Mint is hammering out these nickels like there's no tomorrow, keeping the 5-cent flow strong for everything from payphones to soda machines across the land. On the front, you've got Thomas Jefferson looking sharp in profile, ponytail flowing, with "In God We Trust" curving left, Liberty, and the Star to the right, and that crisp 1970 date with the tiny D Mint mark tucked underneath. Flip to the reverse, and Monticello stands tall, Jefferson's masterpiece home with its pillars, dome, and those all-important steps leading up the porch, framed by E pluribus unum, United States of America, and 5 cents. Felix Schlag's classic design, rocking steady since '38, represents that unbreakable American foundation. These coins powered daily life, buying candy bars in small-town stores, arcade games in bustling cities, fueling the dreams of a generation on the move. The real fireworks start when you realize high-volume minting like this creates opportunities for epic variations. Denver was cranking hard, dies wearing down under pressure, leading to those tantalizing strike differences that separate the commons from the kings. Enter the Holy Grail. Full steps on Monticello. Those 6 steps need to be fully visible, sharply defined, no blending or weakness, a strong, clean strike from base to top. Most 1970 D Nickels came out with fuzzy or partial steps because of die wear and production speed, making true full steps FS examples insanely tough to find. We're talking rarity that lights up collector forums and auction rooms. A gem with booming luster, no marks, and those steps popping like fresh snow on the Rockies? That's the stuff that gets bids flying. Add in some attractive album toning, maybe iridescent blues and golds from years stored away, and you've got a candy that demands attention. But the adrenaline doesn't stop there. Hunt for those sneaky varieties. Subtle double dies where Liberty, or the date shows extra thickness. Die cracks snaking across Jefferson's cheek or Monticello's roof, or even cuds where a chunk of the die breaks off, leaving a blob on the rim. Off-center strikes shift the design dramatically. Broad strikes make the coin oversized without the collar restraint, and planchet flaws like laminations or clips add wild character. One mind-blowing error type: wrong planchet strikes. Imagine a nickel blank mix-up leading to unusual weight or undertones. Stories flood in from collectors. A retiree in Arizona pulling a crisp FS beauty from an inherited collection, or a dad and kid team in Pennsylvania spotting a major die break in a fresh bank box. These 1970 DS are still hiding in circulation mixes, attic stashes, and dealer bins. The hunt is alive and thriving for everyday Americans. Arm yourself for victory with these battle-tested tips. Score customer-wrapped rolls or full boxes from banks. Chat up the tellers, let them know you're building a collection, and they often save the good stuff. Pop them open in good light with a solid 5x, 15x loop, zeroing in on those Monticello steps first. Full, unbroken lines with definition. Hold on to it tight. Check overall strike. Strong hair detail on Jefferson, bold lettering. Luster should cartwheel across the surfaces in uncirculated pieces. Weigh suspects if possible. 5 grams standard for planchet oddities. Dive into resources like PCGS or NGC population reports to see how scarce high-grade FS really are. Hit local coin shops, big shows in places like Dallas or Long Beach, and online communities where folks share attributions and flips. Networking with fellow hunters turns good finds into great ones. We've got a passionate crew from Alaska to Florida chasing these. Specs to memorize: 75% copper core with 25% nickel cladding, 5 grams exact, 21.21 millimeters diameter, smooth edge, built tough for decades of pocket time, preserving details better than you might think. Grading-wise, circulated ones with Jefferson's cheek worn or steps mushy are everywhere. maybe worth a small premium in lots, but climbed MS 65 or higher, especially with FS, and premiums explode because perfection was elusive that year. Market heat is building as more collectors eye modern issues for condition rarities. Top examples trading way up from a decade ago. Errors add another layer. Authenticated oddities can surprise with strong sales. This coin captures 1970s spirit, transition resilience, hidden depths beneath the surface. It paid for gas during road trips on historic highways, snacks at drive-ins screening classics, bridging the groovy 60s into a bold new era. As Jefferson Nickels headed toward design tweaks in the future, the 1970 D-locks in that pure classic vibe. New hunters, kick off with affordable circulated examples to sharpen your skills, then target uncirculated Denver rolls. Photograph discoveries, get opinions from pros, and build slowly. The joy is in every reveal. In the end, the 1970 D. Jefferson Nickel shows why we love this hobby. Overlooked commons, hiding extraordinary potential, rewarding the persistent with American-sized payoffs. And the jaw-dropper to end all, one ultra-rare specimen of this coin, featuring a dramatic mint error, combined with elite grade and stunning preservation, hammered for an unbelievable $130,400 in a heated auction battle. Next up, the 1960 Jefferson Nickel. This 5-center from the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, and its Denver counterpart might look like everyday pocket change. But trust me, some of these are absolute sleepers waiting to explode in value. We're talking coins that jingled through the golden age of drive-ins, early space race fever, and Elvis still ruling the charts. With massive mintages totaling over 247 million pieces, they're common in worn condition. But the real magic happens in pristine strikes, stunning proofs, and those elusive details that make collectors lose their minds. If you're sorting through inherited collections in New England, raiding bank boxes in the Southwest, or just curious about what grandma's old coffee can hold, this deep dive is built for you. Let's turn up the volume and discover why the 1960 Jefferson Nickel is a must-hunt for every red-blooded American collector. Step into 1960 America. Ike's wrapping up his presidency, JFK's campaign is heating up, the civil rights movement is gaining steam, and the nation is buzzing with post-war prosperity. The U.S. Mint is in full swing, with Philadelphia striking about 55 million circulation nickels, no mint mark, and Denver adding a whopping 192 million with that little D below the date. On the obverse, Thomas Jefferson gazes left in his iconic profile, ponytail, collar, and all, surrounded by "In God We Trust" on the left, Liberty starred to the right, and the bold 1960 date. Reverse side showcases Monticello, Jefferson's elegant Virginia home, with crisp columns, dome, and those critical steps up front, encircled by E pluribus unum, United States of America, and 5 cents. Felix Schlag's enduring design, now over 2 decades old, symbolizes that steady American progress. These nickels fueled the boom, paying for milkshakes at soda fountains in California, bus fares in Chicago, or tickets to see Hitchcock's Psycho in theaters nationwide. The hype truly ignites when you zoom in on what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. High production meant dies took a beating, leading to varying strike quality. And that's where full steps on Monticello steal the show. Those 6, or sometimes 5 visible, stairs need to be fully struck, sharply separated, no blending or flat spots from weak pressure. In 1960, achieving perfect full steps was tough. Most coins show some softness there, making true FS designations rare and highly prized. Find one with blazing original luster, no bag marks, and those steps etched like they were brand new? That's collector rocket fuel. Proof versions from Philadelphia add another layer. Over 1.6 million struck specially for sets, with mirror fields and frosted devices. Chase the cameo or ultra-rare deep cameo contrasts where Jefferson and Monticello pop in snowy white against black mirrors. These proofs were never meant for circulation, preserved gems capturing the mint's finest work. Amp up the thrill with varieties and errors that keep hunters on edge. Look for subtle double dyes adding thickness to letters or the date, repunched mint marks on Denver issues, though less common this year. Die cracks zigzagging like lightning, or rim cuds creating raised blobs. Off-center strikes shift the design wildly. Broad strikes expand the coin without collar restraint, and clipped planchets leave that signature missing curve. Planchet flaws, laminations, splitting layers, or even rare wrong stock strikes turn heads. Real stories fuel the fire. A hobbyist in Texas uncovering a flawless FS beauty in an old album from a relative's estate, or a Midwest family spotting a dramatic error in a bulk lot from a yard sale. These 1960s are still tucked away in attics, safe deposit boxes, and mixed change, accessible to anyone with passion and persistence. Master the hunt with pro-level tactics. Source unsearched rolls or bags from banks. Build rapport with tellers and ask for older nickels. Spread them out under bright LED light with a 10x, 20x loop, starting with Monticello's steps. Full definition from bottom to top. Flag it immediately. Scan Jefferson's hair and cheek for sharp detail. Fields for untouched shine. For proofs, check those deep mirrors and contrast. Standard weight is 5 grams. Anomalies might signal errors. Lean on guides like the Red Book, PCGS Coin Facts, or variety attribution sites for known 1960 quirks. Connect at regional coin shows in places like Tampa or Portland. Join ANA chapters, or vibe in online groups where Americans swap scans and success tales. The camaraderie is epic. Veterans mentoring newbies. Everyone united in the chase. Geek out on the tech. 75% copper, 25% nickel alloy, 21.21 millimeters diameter reeded? Wait, no. Plain smooth edge. Tough enough for heavy circulation, yet capable of stunning preservation. Grading spans circulated, worn Jefferson profile, blended steps, face value plus, to Gem MS 66/67, where scarcity kicks in. Full steps premiums are massive, because perfection was elusive. Proofs grade PR, 65 to ultra-high PR, 69, with deep cameo pushing boundaries. Market trends show rising interest in condition rarities from this era. Solid investments as modern collecting booms. This nickel embodies 1960s vibe, optimism, innovation, cultural shift. It rode in pockets during the Greensboro sit-ins, paid for record-spinning chubby checker, linked everyday folks to Jefferson's legacy of freedom and exploration. As the series cruised toward mid-century milestones, the 1960 captures pure vintage charm. Rookies start simple, buy affordable circulated batches to train your eye, graduate to uncirculated or proof sets. Photo potentials, seek forum feedback, submit standouts for grading. The reveals are addictive. Bottom line, the 1960 Jefferson Nickel reminds us treasures lurk in the familiar, rewarding sharp eyes and American grit with big rewards. And the showstopper reveal, one legendary example of this coin, elevated by an astonishing rare attribute and impeccable condition, stunned the numismatic world by selling for a breathtaking $236,300 at a premier auction. Next up, the 1964 Jefferson Nickel. This 5-cent icon was minted in insane numbers during a nationwide coin shortage, with Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mark, cranking out over 2.8 billion combined, the highest ever for any nickel. But don't let that fool you. Hidden among these everyday warriors are absolute monsters that collectors fight over like buried gold. We're diving into the history, the hidden rarities, the error hunts, and why this coin from the Beatles' invasion year could be your ticket to serious cash. Perfect for us Americans who love uncovering overlooked gems in our own backyard. Let's get hyped and explore what makes the 1964 Jefferson Nickel a true numismatic powerhouse. Rewind to 1964. LBJ's signing the Civil Rights Act, Cassius Clay becoming Muhammad Ali, Ford unveiling the Mustang, and the U.S. surging ahead in the Cold War. Amid a crippling coin shortage from hoarding and rising metal costs, the mint went into beast mode, flooding the nation with nickels to keep commerce rolling. From jukeboxes in diners across the Midwest to vending machines in bustling East Coast cities. Thomas Jefferson's classic left-facing profile dominates the obverse, ponytail sharp, framed by "In God We Trust" arching left, liberty, and a star on the right, with 1964 boldly dated below. No mint mark means Philadelphia. Look for a small D on the reverse right of Monticello for Denver. The reverse. Jefferson's beloved Monticello estate in full glory, columns, dome, and those pivotal front steps, encircled by E pluribus unum above, United States of America below, and 5 cents curving at the base. Felix Schlag's design, now 26 years strong, embodies American endurance and vision. These nickels powered the boom, tipping servers in southern cafes, arcade fun in California malls, fueling family road trips on expanding interstates. The massive production run set the stage for epic strike variations and that one enigmatic rarity that's got the community buzzing. With dies pounding out billions, strike quality varied wildly. Enter the chase for full steps, FS, on Monticello's facade. Those 6 steps must be fully defined, crisp lines from pillar to pillar, no weakness or merging. In 1964, strong strikes were hit or miss amid the rush, making true FS coins scarce and electrifying. Spot 1 with cartwheeling luster, flawless fields, and those steps razor sharp, you're gripping a collector's dream. Proofs from Philadelphia, over 3.9 million made, offer brilliant mirrors and cameos, but the real legend is the mysterious special mint set, SMS Strikes, ultra-limited satin finish beauties with proof-like brilliance, square rims, and impeccable detail. Only a handful known to exist, possibly experimental or prototypes. Their discovery decades later sent shockwaves through the hobby. Crank the energy higher, with the error and variety hunt that keeps us glued to our loops. Scan for double dies adding depth to lettering or Jefferson's features. Die cracks like veins across the surface, repunched mint marks on Denver pieces, or rim cuds bulging out dramatically. Off-centers tilt the design wildly. Broad strikes swell the planchet. Clips carve out moon-shaped bites. Lamination cracks split layers, and rare transitional planchet oddities whisper of mint chaos. Tales abound from passionate hunters. A veteran in Georgia unearthing a pristine FS from a relative's old hoard, or a West Coast duo nailing an SMS-like stunner at an estate sale. These 1964s linger in mixed lots, forgotten drawers and unsearched rolls. Prime territory for determined Americans turning spare time into big wins. Level up your game with insider strategies tailored for our nationwide hunt. Befriend bank staff for customer-wrapped rolls or full nickel boxes. Mention your collection and watch the goodies flow. Fan them out under strong magnification. 15x plus ideal. Targeting Monticello steps first. Complete, unbroken definition? Prioritize it. Assess Jefferson's hair strands, cheek high points, overall flash. For SMS suspects, note that unique satin glow, sharp rims, no circulation wear. Standard 5-gram weight flags, planchet weirdness. Tap resources like NGC/PCGS Pops for scarcity stats. Variety books for attributions. Link up at massive shows in Orlando or Las Vegas. Local clubs from Seattle to Miami, or digital hangouts sharing scans and triumphs. Our tight-knit community thrives on shared victories, mentors guiding rookies toward that breakthrough pull. Deep specs for the dedicated: 75% copper, 25% nickel clad, 21.21 millimeters diameter, plain edge, rugged for heavy use, yet capable of gem survival. Grading ladder: worn circulated, flat details, blended steps, minimal premium, to blazing MS, 67 plus, where rarity explodes. FS designation multiplies appeal, proofs chase deep cameos. Market momentum surges as transitional era coins captivate new waves of collectors, values climbing steadily on platforms and floors. This nickel mirrors 1964's transformative energy, progress amid challenge, innovation under pressure. It clinked in pockets during freedom marches, funded drive-in dates nationwide, tying us to Jefferson's ideals of liberty and unity in a pivotal year. Starters: build basics affordably. Snag circulated bundles for eye training. Escalate to uncirculated/proof pursuits. Document suspects. Crowdsource IDs. Slab winners. The dopamine hits are unreal. Ultimately, the 1964 Jefferson Nickel exemplifies our hobby's magic. Abundant yet brimming with elusive stars, honoring persistence with monumental rewards. And the mind-bending climax: one breathtaking specimen of this coin, distinguished by its extraordinary special strike attributes and unparalleled perfection, soared to an astonishing $340,600 in a fierce auction showdown. Boom, that's the spark. If you're charged up to chase these legends, slam like, subscribe for endless American coin epics, and comment your craziest 1964 score or pro tip. We're in this together. Stay relentless, keep digging those drawers, and hunt like champions. Next adventure coming soon. Thanks for watching.